Ladies and gentlemen, we're indeed honored and privileged to have with us this evening our chief guest, Mr. Priyank Kharge, the Honorable Minister for IT, BT and Tourism, Government of Karnataka. I'd like to introduce him to the audience briefly. Shri Priyank Kharge is the Honorable Minister of Information Technology and Biotechnology and Tourism, Government of Karnataka. He entered politics as an activist at the National Student Union of India. He was the Vice President of the Karnataka unit of the Youth Congress for one term. Shri Kharge has conceptualized a first-of-its-kind Center of Excellence in Aerospace Aviation for the Government of Karnataka and initiated the country-specific pavilions for Global Investors Meet, Invest Karnataka. He is also instrumental in initiating the National Investment Manufacturing Zone, a 12,500-acre industrial township. He has conceptualized employable-based training scheme, Yuva Yoga, for the Department of Labor, Government of Karnataka. Ladies and gentlemen, please extend a very warm welcome this evening to Mr. Priyank Kharge. Sir, I'd like to request you to address the gathering.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Shri Ujwalji, dignitaries present here, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure and privilege to be here at the ISA Makeathon initiative by ISA for Vision Summit 2017, which encourages the maker community in India to drive technology and innovation. The ISA Vision Summit is an event of great significance as it showcases the sector's eminent role in the economy, focusing on the electronics system design and manufacturing industry. I'd really like to take this opportunity as well to apologize to IESA, and of course a very personal apology I owe to Mr. Vidya Shankar. He seems to be missing somewhere. Okay, so I was supposed to be here at the inaugural session yesterday, but there was a big accident. I'm not sure if you've read about it in the newspapers, that there were 67 people hospitalized and around 13 people dead. So I had to rush there, so I was not here for the inaugural session, so I had to make it up to ISA because we require your guidance for policy making and of course your investments as well. So anyway, here I am for the valedictory, and I think what VS 2017 stands for, the theme, that is design-led manufacturing, redefining the future of India's ESDM. I think the theme is very aptly architected, and it is a very interesting theme. And what is even more interesting, that this is happening in Bengaluru, because this summit further validates my claim that Karnataka is the place to be if you want to define or redefine a vertical. And I was just having a chat with my colleagues earlier, and I was telling them that I personally feel that Bengaluru and the state of Karnataka has reached the pinnacle of being a service-based industry, and I think it's high time we stop portraying ourselves as the back office operations for the entire world. Now we are hungry for more challenging gameplay of defining the next in various verticals. Even our flagship program of the Department of IT BT last year was of Bengaluru IT.biz that happened in November. The theme was something very similar. The theme was define the next, because the government took a very conscious decision to emerge out of the shadows of a service industries, and we wanted to portray ourselves, like Ujwalji said, that there's so much of potential in the country, there's so much of potential in the state, and are we ready for it? And that's why we consciously took a decision to have a theme of define the next and emerge out as thought leaders in emerging technologies of artificial intelligence, big data sciences, robotics, IoT, machine learning, cybersecurity, animation, manufacturing, and of course, Deftronics and ESDM. The reason I'm telling you this is that Bengaluru itself, or this government of Karnataka itself, has realized the potential of these verticals individually. I mean, when we started, when we were the torchbearers of the IT policy in the country, and at the time everybody wanted to do services, everybody wanted to be in the BPO sector. But now we have realized that technology has penetrated in every vertical, in every aspect of life. For example, the global electronics market is estimated close to around 1.8 trillion and is growing by an average of 5% every year. And that growth is the highest in Asia at around 7% per annum. And the market is expected to be around $400 billion by 2020, growing at 12%. And I'm proud of the fact that Karnataka is one of the highest contributors in the country, recording a growth rate of 18%. So we realize how big this industry is. And the government of Karnataka intends to maintain these high growth rates and has hence got the very robust ESDM policy, which will facilitate Karnataka to be the leading contributor to India's ESDM sector by achieving at least 10% of the turnover of $400 billion by 2020 and generating over 20% of the country's total ESDM exports target of $80 billion by the same year of 2020. We have the presence of over 85 chip designing companies out of 200 plus in the country, and most of the global semiconductor designing companies specializing in VLSI design, board design, and embedded software have a presence in Karnataka. Karnataka is extremely strong in electronic system designing, an activity which accounts for a significant portion of the cost of the fabrication and manufacturing of electronic products, and it makes sense for the stakeholders to leverage the strengths and opportunities of the state. We understand that when we set such high ambitious targets of growth, we will just not need infrastructure, but an entire ecosystem that provides provides any company to just not innovate and invent, but also ideate. So when Ujjwalji was speaking, he made a very valid point. We have the manpower, we have the human resources, we have the government will here in the state. So how is it that the government of Karnataka can provide this entire system, entire ecosystem of ideation, innovation, and invention? All this will only happen when we build a community based of knowledge and skill. And the state is pretty well equipped for that. And therefore, if we are focusing on development of appropriate skills required for ESDM and also partnering with the industry to build the required ecosystem for the growth in the sector. So under the ESDM policy itself, I believe my colleague in the previous session just spoke about how we are trying to skill in every vertical, every technological vertical that is possible. And the state government has targeted skilling of 15,000 people under 80 courses through training partners, and these courses are recognized by the Telecom Sector Skill Council, Electronics Sector Skill Council of India, and National Institute of Electronics and IT. Besides skill, one of the most important aspects of this business is funding, and we have the Karnataka Semiconductor Venture Capital of 100 crores, out of which 20 crores have already been dispersed, and the another 40 crores is under consideration. Also, we have one of the best policies, startup policies, multi-sector startup policies in the country, which envisages to groom 20,000 startups across verticals, so right from agriculture to aerospace. If you have an idea, the government of Karnataka is the place to go to, because we have something called the Idea to POC Fund, wherein we fund any idea that seems feasible enough, that seems to have a future in the vertical, up to 50 lakhs. So when Ujjwalji was talking, he also mentioned that you have a corpus. So if I may suggest that if Hero Electronics and the government of Karnataka can partner together to see how we can come up with some kind of electronic product-based startup fund, wherein we contribute little and you can contribute little, and we can ensure that we give the startups an opportunity as well. Right now it is very difficult for startups to come into the mainstream. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it is we have Bengaluru has the ecosystem of the ideation I was telling you earlier. We have 7,200 startups here in Karnataka, and more than 2,300 or 2,400 startups registered with me in my startup cell. So in this startup cell, what we do is we do a lot of hand-holding activities for the startup. We help them with mentoring, we help them with legal help, we help them with patenting, we give them funds. They have access to the government for validating their ideas. So we have got this complete open door policy, and I think we are the only government in India that has something called the Startup Open House, where my team and me sit with the startups. We meet around 25 to 35 startups in a day, in a month, one day, wherein the startups come and access the government directly. So there are a lot of things they ask us. Some people say like they want to work with the health department. Some people say I want my idea validated by a mentor. Some people say I want to get into Hero Electronics. Because the products are they're good. Because I'll just give you an example. Probably we could work on how we help groom these startups. So there's this startup that came to our open house who's got this wonderful product I'm not sure what the product, I think it's called Bike Hound. So he says he's got this product which can be retrofitted into a bike. And what that thing does is any big jerky movements, or if your bike is stolen, you can actually track that thing. So we have this nasty habit of parking our bikes in a no parking zone. So if it gets tagged, if it gets pulled up by the traffic police and it's going, so at least you know where your bike is. And if it gets stolen, there's an app for you to see where the bike is. And the best thing about the thing is you can disable the bike. You can cut off its engine with your app. And that fellow is trying to look for funds. He wants an idea validation of that. So when something like that comes to us and we can reach out to Hero Motors or TVS Motors or any of the private sectors, enterprises like these, it sort of validates his idea as well. There's no money involved in it, but validation of an idea, which is the most important thing for an entrepreneur. Because if you don't validate the idea, there's no future for that idea. So this kind of disruptive policies, these kind of creative policies is what the government of Karnataka is doing. And to ensure that this innovation and ideation is not limited only to the cosmopolitans, we are coming up with the brownfield and greenfield clusters in Mysuru, Kalburgi, Tumkuru, and Hubli in a PPP model. Besides that, we have a special focus on emerging trends, and hence our area of focus is also defense electronics, aerospace, and space. And recently, I'm really proud to announce that just a week, but not even a week back, 3-4 days back, we have announced India's first center of excellence in aerospace and space, along with DASU Systems. It's a 288 crore project, and this is the first of its kind in India to ensure that we are future ready. The state government is setting up 5 common instrumentation facilities across Karnataka for the electronics sector, and a state of the electronics incubator is also being set up in Bengaluru with a combined cost of over 85 crores. I was looking for you, sir. I apologize profusely for that. Today we are the only city in India that ranks as one of the best destinations for ideation and innovation. We are ranked 13 in the world in the world startup ecosystem, and we are rated the 5th most preferred destination for research and development, beating the likes of Shanghai, Tokyo, and Chicago. We have been called the most dynamic city in the World Economic Forum, and from being a pensioner's paradise to an innovation city, to a dynamic city, to a startup capital, we are the most adaptable and the most conducive city for business. We have had over 1,600 companies investing over 3 lakh crores and providing 9 lakh jobs in the last 3 years alone, and this is the highest for any state. So it's very surprising when, so I keep telling my colleagues from the government of India whenever I get a chance that you talk about digital India, Karnataka mein already hai. You talk about make in India, Karnataka mein already hai. Bosch and Toyota are making from long time. Bosch is there from 1950s. They're already there. And when you talk about startup India, stand-up India, bhai hum to khade hue hoke 10 saal ho gaye. So, and the most important thing why I'm talking about all this, that because we are always been the right place to do these things, and we are leading the country, just not in investment. And these figures are not mine. Please don't judge me saying that it is the Congress government in the state, and that's why he's talking like this. These figures are from the center, from the government of India. So in fact, when we had this recent Make in Karnataka session, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu and Mr. Anant Kumar and Mr. Jaitley, everybody was here, and they were all praises for Karnataka, of course, because we are the host state, but also they they also said the fact that the whole world is looking at India for investment because it's the most conducive and most progressive country right now. And if you're a wise man, you will definitely invest in India, and if you're a wiser man, you'll definitely invest in Bengaluru and Karnataka. So it's not me, it's being validated by the government of India, the honorable ministers, whatever they say, and we have enough, footage for that, so that they don't go back on that. So the point I'm trying to make is very similar to what Mr. Ujjwal said, that the demographic dividend, the growing middle class, the immense skill and knowledge, increasing purchasing power are factors which are making the state one of the hottest global destinations. The vast talent, human resource pool, a vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem, innovative and competitive market with proactive government policies are attracting investments and are contributing and transforming the state into manufacturing hub. In this growth story, the ESDM sector will be a game changer as all electronics is all pervasive. We cannot be satisfied with the status quo, and I'm glad that IESA has created in the Vision Summit a forum where government, startups, industry, investors, and academia have come together for a constructive insight and debate that will help us strengthen our ecosystem. I'm sure that the two-day conference, which featured diverse and authoritative perspectives on the business of technology, will foster collaboration, business partnering, and relationship building among the global ESDM supply chain and manufacturing leaders. Karnataka has always been the pioneer and torchbearer for collaborations between government and private industry, and we have shown in the past how collaborations with our government can help us be globally competitive. Because we believe not in ideas, we believe in making ideas happen. And there is a saying that paper has a lot of patience, and what you put on paper remains on paper unless you act on it. So the government of Karnataka firmly believes that it's not about the ideas, but it's about how the ideas can be done practically. And I assure you that our policies are well entrenched to ensure that industries across verticals flourish and are defining the next in the technologies, and we are future ready for not only Karnataka, but for India as well. So ideate, innovate, invent, and of course, invest in Karnataka for a better India and for a better future. Thank you, one and all. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.